Hey everyone, it's Vince here, VOL888 on X. And every Wednesday, I aim to go live with the Tesla chart and give you my thoughts on where we are for the day and into the end of the week. And so we have the live chart here, and I just want to zoom out firstly, look at the big picture, and we can see clearly we had a big breakout back in September last year, and we had price holding above the green band of support for quite some time. It was tested several times, and it was only back in March when we actually lost that green band of support. And we had, of course, the lows of 2026 that traded in April. And since then, we actually look like we might be breaking free of that resistance and that breakdown. But it was short-lived because we actually got below the green band of support just before the earnings happened last week. And of course, after earnings, we gapped down, and we're currently below the green band of support, and we've been consolidating for 5 days now. And today is an important day. We had Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell speak, and it was interesting because the rates were held steady, no change to the rate. But among board members that could, Federal Reserve members that could vote on that decision, it was actually the most disagreement since 1992. So never since 1992 has there been this much disagreement among Federal Reserve voters on what to do with the rates. Some want to raise the rates, some want to lower the rates, and some want to keep it the same. Well, they did keep it the same today. Now, Tesla is reacting, fairly neutral to that news. We did dip down lower this morning, but we've since rebounded a bit. We're right at 373 is the current price right now. And we've got now just about 28 minutes until the close today. So it looks like a high probability that we're going to be closing into this cluster of candles that we've been trending sideways with for the last few days. And what's really going to determine the next big move, I think, is how we either break out of this square or break down from it. Now, we do have a couple of gaps that are open here as well, too. We have a gap open here. This is all the way back from earlier in April. We did gap up. You can see that we closed the day here. We gapped up big the next day. We came back down, but we left an open space there. So there is an open gap there. Now, it's important to note that not all gaps need to get filled. So just because there's a gap below the current price does not mean that the price needs to come down there and fill that gap. In fact, there's about 50 open gaps in Tesla's history at very low prices that I don't think will ever get filled. And we do have, of course, the earnings gap as well, too. So we had pre-earnings close here. The next day we had a big gap down. Price came up, but it did not fill this open space here. So we've got a gap above, a gap below. And so I think once we do get resolution from this blue rectangle, we're going to be attacking one of the gaps, either the gap below, which is a bullish gap because we gapped up, or the bearish gap from the earnings reaction. Now, we do have several big tech earnings tonight here on Wednesday, April 29th as well, too. So no doubt that is going to have some influence on Tesla tomorrow also. And because we've been trending sideways for so long, if we look at the weekly chart, we can see that the current week's candle is actually a doji candle. That's where you have a thin body. The open and the close are close to each other, and there's a long wick up and a long wick down, which is where the intra-week price traded. Now, we have 2 days left, but the trend has been steadily going sideways for the last few days. So if this holds, there's a potential for a bullish setup into next week. What I would look for is for the doji candle to print, first of all, and then I would look for a gap up on Monday. And that could create the pattern, which is a bullish doji Morningstar pattern. So that's a possibility. But again, 2 days left, but we also have been trending sideways for some time. So we are coming down a little bit now. We've got 24 minutes until the close. Yeah, we've got a, candle that's basically inside that cluster that we've been trading in for each of the last 4 days. I would like to see it close higher than lower, create a little bit of a lower wick, showing that there's buying support, kind of the opposite of yesterday, but we'll have to see how that closes. So I'm going to leave that with you. We've got 25 minutes until the close, and I hope to see you all next week. Bye for now.